Ticket to Ride, Chapter 3. Escape was near. Benjamin could see the train station growing as he pedaled closer. It was a great streak of luck that he had not been approached or bothered in any way. Even in that neighborhood, it seemed everyone had retired to their homes or kept to their own on their porches. No questions came. That was a relief. The station itself was old and made of faded wood with old peeling paint. It had an annoying buzzing light out front. The bad neighborhood was a comfortable distance away. It was close enough to see the lights of street lamps and bright windows, but far enough away to allow a heavy atmosphere of the station's own property. Once he had reached his destination, Benjamin hopped off the bike and leaned it against the building. He stared at it with a sense of pity. Despite it not being a neat new bike, it was a good bike, and had certainly proven its usefulness. He was rather sad to leave it behind. However, he wouldn't be able to take it any further. Not on a train. This is where it would have to be retired. Benjamin gave it one long lasting stare before he closed his eyes with a resigned sigh. That was it. He turned his back to his steed and walked towards the old chipped door with the slightly musty window. The door creaked upon its hinges. If that wasn't enough to announce his presence, the dip in the upper portion met with that which had eroded it over time. It hit the bell that hung over it and continued to creak until it thumped close. Benjamin held the pickle jar close to himself. The gravity of his duffel bag made him feel slow and heavy in that moment. The wooden boards that made up the old floor rattled with every step. They weren't quite ready to give way, but they sure sounded as if they were. The whole place looked old and worn. It was a wonder the place was even functioning. Still, it seemed clean enough. There were no cobwebs in the corners. The floors weren't too dusty. The lights worked fine, and the benches looked sturdy. It smelled like wood. Old wood. That was no real surprise. There was a hint of fruitiness. It must have been an air freshener of some sort to try and give this place some semblance of life. The large clock on the wall ticked loudly as the second hand skipped from line to line in its rotation. "Good evening," a voice called suddenly. It made Benjamin jump with a start. Instinctually, he held the jar tighter in fear of dropping it. He turned on his heels and noticed the counter and the single soul behind it. It appeared to be the station master. He was a tall and slender man. He wore a blue coat with yellow accents, white gloves, pressed blue slacks, and a blue cap on his head, customary of his position. He had reasonably shaggy reddish-brown hair that draped over the back collar of his coat. His back was to Benjamin as he clacked the chalk against the blackboard to update the schedules. "Just make yourself comfortable. I'll be with you in just a minute." Ah, life. It seemed a little less uncomfortable with another person in the station with him, even if it was just the station master. Benjamin tossed his duffel bag onto one of the benches. The absence of the weight brought a bit of relief. He then took long strides towards the counter and placed his pickle jar atop of it. "How much for a ticket?" The station master paused, his hand only mid-word on the board. He turned his head only slightly, though his face was still obstructed by both his arm and his hair. "A boy?" he asked with a calm surprise. His voice was smooth and kind, currently otherwise unreadable and professional. "I'm not very much used to dealing with the likes of children," he said. "At this time of night I normally see only adults. Are you alone?" Benjamin was a bit surprised. He wasn't sure if he should be offended or not. The station master wasn't exactly condescending, but he wasn't particularly welcoming on a level that he would have preferred. "I'm big enough," he finally said, as he pulled his shoulders back and puffed out his chest in an attempt to look as big and confident as possible. It was a rather moot thing to do, save for the potential of convincing himself. He lent his ear, but that seemed to be all he offered before he began to clack the chalk again to continue his duty. "I can do it all by myself," Benjamin continued. "I don't need help from no one." "Anyone," came the flat reply. "Anyone what?" "You don't need help from anyone," the station master repeated. "Watch those double negatives, boy." Benjamin let out a growling sigh of frustration. Whatever. How much is a ticket? This wasn't going to go anywhere, was it? Well, that all depends on where you want to go, doesn't it, boy? The station master replied. Benjamin, he huffed to the man's back. My name is Benjamin. Ah, then it depends on where you want to go, Benjamin. I don't really care, he replied. I just need to get away from here. Away from here, eh? Running from troubles? Or are you bored with the humdrum and wish to try the hobo life? He was silent for a long moment. He wasn't really sure how to answer. Obviously, he was running away from his troubles, but the idea of adventure wasn't exactly a shabby alternative either. Then again, even with a change of scenery, he didn't exactly feel like a hobo. Just need to start things over, he finally said. I see, the man said softly. Is it that simple? Just put yourself in a new backdrop and you go on without a hitch? I guess, the boy replied with a shrug. You guess? The station master piqued his voice. Guessing can only get you so far, Benjamin. To succeed, you need to have some sort of plans. Otherwise, you are just a dog chasing his tail. I have plans, Benjamin insisted. He scrunched up his face and glared at the station master's back. This was frustrating. I'm I'm gonna join the circus. Then when I'm older, I'm gonna play baseball for the Oscar win Aidenmoas. It'll be great. I'll be so rich and famous. That'll show everyone. They'll be so sorry they weren't nicer to me. It was the station master's turn to hesitate in his reply. The circus? He finally inquired with a hint of amusement. So, you have it all figured out then, don't you? Are you ever going to answer me, mister? Benjamin asked with a sigh. Stewart, the station master replied with a kind chuckle. My name is Stewart. Stewart? Benjamin. Benjamin? Stewart. He placed the chalk onto the holder and clapped his hands together to brush off any excess on the material. He then began to ruffle through a few boxes. By now, Benjamin was wondering if he was being quite rude on purpose. It was quite agitating to talk to his back. Stewart? He shot upright and pointed to one of the rectangles that he had written in a few moments before. Hollandale, he began. There is a circus headquarters there. In order to reach it, you will need to take this train. That was quite the surprise. Benjamin had started to come to the conclusion that Stewart wasn't going to tell him much of anything useful for his endeavors. Yet there it was. Now he knew which train to take, where it was going, and for certain that a circus headquarters was there. Despite not even bothering to look at the boy, Stewart had to realize that he wasn't bluffing about his solitude. Was he really just giving directions to him like that? Then again, wasn't that what Benjamin wanted? After all, what did this man care, so long as he was paid, right? Then I guess I'm going to Hollandale.